Hello and welcome to another PlanetDestiny exotic weapon review. My name is Patrick Casey, otherwise known as Holtzman, and today I will be reviewing the exotic rocket launcher, Truth. To get Truth, you're going to have to get lucky in the Cryptarch lottery, buy it from Xur, or win it in PvP or PvE. If you find yourself this weapon, you're going to be rewarded with something that is really built for the sole purpose of destroying anything and anything around that specific area. It's a weapon that exemplifies everything good about rocket launchers, but there isn't really a single feature on it that really sets it apart from other weapons. Truth occupies that same class, kind of similar to Gjallarhorn or Plan C or Suros Regime, in that it's a weapon that does everything to the best of that weapon type's ability. Its stats are almost completely maxed out in the areas that matter, blast radius, velocity, reload's also very high. It leads to a very wonderful weapon experience. The two perks are really excellent when paired together, aggressively tracking missiles and they explode based on proximity to a target. It usually means that whatever you fired the weapon at will die, along with anything nearby. The aggressive tracking perk doesn't seem much different though from the normal tracking. I'll find that if I fire the weapon might actually track and hit a wall, or something like that. It tracks things very well, but it doesn't take things like terrain or, objects around that target into account and just goes straight for that target. This isn't necessarily a bad thing or a slight against the weapon, it's just more of a problem that is compounded on by the fact that all rockets that track things will inherently do this, and it's a little bit more apparent with this particular rocket launcher. While there's nothing really bad about the weapon, it's similar to the other exotics that simply don't have any uniqueness to them. It always makes you question if it's worth taking up your exotic slot. I find myself, going, hey, I'd much rather have Icebreaker here, or hey, I'd much rather have Suros in PvE, or maybe in PvP I'm going, man, Plan C would be really good in this map. While it's a good thing that I can't really say anything bad about it, the fact that it takes up your exotic slot without bringing much else to the table from other normal rocket launchers is a pretty big mark off. This weapon, cosmetic-wise, while having a unique look, doesn't really stand out. It really exemplifies the design of something like the A10 Warthog. It's not flashy, it's just designed and built entirely around the one idea of doing this one thing well. It's built to destroy something, not to win beauty contests, and I actually enjoy this function over form design. The sound of this weapon isn't really anything to write home about, but it has like a muffled, almost silenced projectile sound. I've noticed people not being aware of me firing a rocket sometimes due to the silenced, projectile coming out of it. In conclusion, Truth really takes all of the good features of a rocket launcher, like 2 shots, tracking rounds, explosions, large blast radius, good velocity, and it puts them into one package. The problem is it just doesn't really feel like an exotic. Do all these things warrant being an exotic? If we look at other weapons like Plan C or Suros Regime, then yeah, we can say it warrants its exotic status just due to stats. But this one really feels like it's missing something, even though it really has everything. Would I still use Truth? Of course, but only in a few places, like Vault of Glass. Once I find another Void rocket launcher, then I'll probably just toss this one into the bank. Truth gets a 6 out of 10. Let's take a look at some of the upgrades for Truth. At first we have Hard Launch here, more velocity and blast radius, increased recoil. Warhead Verniers, more velocity and blast radius, increased recoil. And Confined Launch, greatly reduced recoil, significant penalty of velocity. I've never seen a point really messing around with the recoil at all on a rocket launcher, since you're firing rounds downrange. It's not like an auto rifle where you're continuously chaining shots, or a scout rifle where you're really trying to go for precision. This is a rocket launcher that locks onto targets. Just fire it and forget it. I go with Verniers. It increases the velocity and blast radius, the two things you really want to be high on a rocket launcher. Then you have Grenades and Horseshoes. Rockets from this weapon will detonate early based on proximity to targets. This one is a really good ability, but it can kind of mess you over a few times. Like if you fire at someone and it'll detonate because something else kind of steps out a little bit too close to it. It's a good ability that is good sometimes, not all the time. Upgrade damage. And we have Javelin, increased warhead velocity. Heavy payload, increased warhead blast radius. Flared Magwell, reload this weapon even faster. I choose to go for Javelin here because the blast radius from heavy payload, like, it's already so high on the weapon. Just increasing it further seems kind of pointless. and flared mag while reloading the weapon even faster, I find that just Javelin kind of outweighs that, as your round will be getting to its target even faster. And then we have Prototype Truth Seeker. Truthfully, this is not that great of an ability, at least for an exotic. There's numerous other rocket launchers out there that have a seeking thing built into it. While this one does seek them a little bit faster, it's not really anything to write home about. A lot of times, if the enemy kind of gets behind cover, the round will aggressively seek the target, but not take, terrain into account, or something that might be in its way, and it'll just hit a wall, and you won't actually kill anything. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. This has been Patrick Casey, your guide to the Destiny universe.